What is going on, YouTube Nation? This is Darth Dividend. If you guys are new to my YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future videos. And this guy that I am collaborating with, he's a phenomenal dividend investor, very strong channel, very strong Instagram, and very strong website. I will, after this video, refer you to his 5 stocks to buy for new investors. I watched his first before I made mine. I made sure that I was at the level of his videos because he does a phenomenal job with his videos. Passive Income Tom. I am going to post his link to his YouTube site as well. I'm sorry, the YouTube link as well as his blogging site so that you can refer to that anytime. And make sure that you subscribe to both of our channels and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future videos. I'm going to do a really quick introduction on Passive Income Tom. He's someone that I found on the dividend investing community. I started to create a channel. I thought my niche originally was nursing and fitness, but then I changed my mind. I'm like, you know what? I kind of like investing a lot. So I changed my niche, and this channel's growing. So is his. It's really exciting to see his channel grow as well. And I can actually learn from Passive Income Tom because I'm not really the biggest crypto type person, but I refer to his website and his blog and some of his videos about crypto. So I learn a lot. And I am having a little bit of an interest. I could do an IRA with cryptocurrency. I know it's very up and down and right and left, but throwing in $20 a month isn't too bad. But let's talk about Passive Income Tom. Very strong dividend investor, very strong channel. So he is somebody that I definitely am very thankful to network with on Instagram as well as YouTube, and be referred to his website. So he's a phenomenal channel. So make sure that you check out his channel as well. This is I watch all of his videos all the time. His videos give me tips. They give me a heads up on certain things. Maybe I'm as a dividend investor, you have a certain philosophy in what you want to buy and what you want to do. So watching his channel a little bit, it enhances my philosophy as a dividend investor. So that's one good reason why you should subscribe to his channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future videos. So let's talk 5 stocks to buy for new investors. This is what we planned on. So I'm going to give you the first stock that I think that new investors should invest in, especially for dividend investors. And I'm actually drinking it right now. Take a guess what it is. That stock would be Starbucks. Starbucks Corporation. It is obviously a coffee and beverage stock. It is the main representation in the United States, second wave of coffee culture. So let's look at Starbucks real quick, how it's done against the S&P. Starbucks has killed the S&P since inception. So in the past 5 years, look, even if it took a hit, it's still coming back up after this temporary recession. We'll see what the GDP says, and then we can declare it as a recession. But Starbucks has really beaten the S&P since the past 5 years. And look at it since inception. I mean, 21,500. Let's look at the dividend history of Starbucks. So Starbucks has increased its dividend for a long time. Let's just go back to 2010. It was 10 cents a share, all the way up to 41 cents a share. Annualized dividend as of right now is 1.64. The dividend yield is up. Starbucks is just going up. Let's look at they are a very strong stock. So that's my first stock. If you want me, in the future to look at financials and everything, I'll go into that, in the future. Just make a comment section for Tom and I, and we'll be glad to discuss why we think that in our channels, why Starbucks is a really good one. Next one is eBay. So I don't know if you guys realize this, but eBay recently, I did a video on eBay. They just started giving out a dividend. The board of directors decided to give off a dividend. So, that's one stock that you want to look into. It has done very well in the past 5 years. Let's compare it against the S&P. eBay has done a phenomenal job against the S&P. It's been up 6,094.29%. I have about 14 stocks on eBay on my E-Trade dividend portfolio. Kind of wish I put it on my M1 Finance portfolio, but I'm just going to leave it there, let the dividends reinvest. Past 5 years, it's right back up. You know, it took a hit. Now it's just jumping right back up. So eBay is another stock to consider. Let's look at the dividend history. So in February, it just started distributing a dividend, 14 cents a share. Dividend yield is 1.47. But as you know, eBay is a competitor with Amazon and these other sites. So once you have more shares with eBay, you can reinvest and buy more shares, and you can get a dividend for investing in eBay. So that's something very very nice about being a dividend investor with eBay. So they're a competitor with e-commerce. So that's another diversification. So you have Starbucks from the consumer beverage. You have eBay from kind of like the e-commerce site. What about another stock that I'll show you right now? How about Maximum Integrated Products? So this is an American publicly traded company that designs, manufactures, and sells mixed signal integrated circuits. Maximum Integrated develops integrated circuits for the automotive, industrial, communications, consumer, and computing markets. Headquarters are San Jose, California. Let's look in some information. So the revenue is jumping up. This is a very strong stock. It is traded as a NASDAQ 100 component, as the S&P 500 component. It is a public stock founded in 1983. 35,000 customers worldwide. Its headquarters are in San Jose. So these guys are semiconductors. There's a lot of competition with a lot of these other companies, and as well as Taiwan semiconductors. So these guys give off a dividend, which I will jump to. Conductor company has jumped. It has increased its dividend. Let's just look at 2015. Gives off a nice quarterly dividend. It went from 28 cents to 48 cents. Very strong semiconductor company. As you know, semiconductors are huge right now. There's a lot of potential with this stock. Keep that in mind. So right now we just discussed Starbucks. We just discussed eBay. We have Maxim. And let's go to the next one. I have a little bit of diversification. Next one is Welltower. It's a real estate investment trust that invests in senior housing, assisted living, and memory care communities, post-acute care facilities, medical office buildings. It also owns hospitals and other healthcare properties outside the United States. Let's see how it's done, because real estate took a huge hit. Now look at this growing. Took a huge nosedive. Let's just compare it against the S&P. Okay, Welltower is somewhat losing to the S&P right now, but in the past 5 years, it was keeping right up with it, and then all of a sudden it took a nosedive. So if you look at here, in the past year, okay, it was in line with the S&P and it took a nosedive. Now, sure, it's losing against the S&P, but let's look at diversification a little bit. We're diversifying our dividend portfolio, and this is slowly going up. So since they took a nosedive, this is one stock that you might want to consider putting in your dividend portfolio. I just added that in my M1 Finance portfolio today. Real estate's down, but they're on their way back up. So here's their financials. So they've been up like before a huge hit happened. So unfortunately they went down because of what. But there's a ton of opportunities, and unfortunately people are getting sicker. So that's the one thing you might want to consider Welltower. So we have our semiconductor, we have Welltower, we have eBay, we have our beverage, and one more stock we're going to add to this, okay? Medtronic. Medtronic is a an amazing company when it comes to healthcare products as well as healthcare electronics. If you look at their website, one of the biggest things when I think of Medtronic is pacemakers are one of the biggest companies. I think them and Boston Scientific are the competitor. That's their competitor. They're killing Boston Scientific right now. So that is one thing you might want to look into. And, compare price-wise, comparing to Beck and Dixon and Johnson & Johnson, it's a little bit lower, but they give off a phenomenal dividend. So let me just show you real quick with Medtronic. And I will go back to Welltower in a second. I'm going to show you their dividend history. But Medtronic's another one you might want to consider. Let's look at their dividend history. Dividend history, it has increased over time. So let's look at 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. So it has increased over time from 43 cents to 46 cents to 50 cents to 54 cents to 58 cents. People are getting sicker. Okay, so we have two stocks real quick. Some of these stocks are kind of somewhat intertwined. So think about this. You have a patient in the hospital. He gets a pacemaker put in, okay? Or, he gets, a new device put in, surgically implanted by Medtronic. Then all of a sudden, they go to one of the real estate investment trust buildings that Welltower owns. So you have two things going on almost at the same time. So they go, they could go to the skilled rehab facility. I'm not saying that they are, but some of these things are owned by Welltower. So thinking about certain stocks and why with healthcare and why they're important, you have Medtronic with insulin pumps, all this stuff, and their products, and then you have buildings to help people. And unfortunately, people are getting strokes, people are unhealthier, people are just getting sicker. I mean, it's very unfortunate. You get AFib, you get a stroke, boom, you're in the hospital. And then you might have to go to acute rehab. So, that's going nowhere. I'm going to jump to the history of Welltower and their dividend history. Here's the thing with Welltower. It has increased its dividend just about every year, okay? And what is the rule of real estate investment trust? I'm pretty sure, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, that 90% of the investors that we put in, okay, if they're starting to make more money because they're owning more and more buildings and rehab facilities and all this, and they're expanding, they have to give off 90% of what they earn back to us as investors. I'm pretty sure that's part of the real estate investment trust, because with a rate, if they just held on to their profits, they would have to pay taxes off the wazoo. So pretty sure the rule is 90% and then 10%. So here's some information about them as well. Look at this. Okay. Here's the thing about Welltower. A real estate investment trust owns interests in properties concentrated in major high-growth markets in the United States, Canada, and United Kingdom, consisting of senior housing, post-acute communities, and outpatient medical properties. So let's think about this. Now, I took a huge blow in Rich Uncles. I don't know if you watched my previous video, but I pretty much lost $6,000. And the reason why I lost $6,000 is that was centered on millennials. It'll go back, so I'm not sweating bullets over that. But that's centered on millennials, student housing, okay? And kids aren't going on campus right now, because of this. I can't say what. But kids aren't going on campus, and eventually they'll go back. It'll fix itself, but that's going to take time. Welltower, once confidence comes back and there's more information. They start bringing stuff up about the market, and as long as Elon Musk doesn't say Welltower sucks to get their price per share down, because that guy Elon Musk he's a character. I mean, if he said McDonald's sucks, in 5 minutes, the price per share, and people panic sell right away. So they don't have Elon Musk coming after him. So the thing is, Welltower has people who are sick. So unfortunately, they said by 2050, 1 in 3. I looked at a study. 1 in 3 are going to have type 2 diabetes, and 1 in 3 are going to be obese. So people are going to be sicker. Once you get with diabetes, one issue that happens is amputations. There could be an increase in amputations because of diabetes, and they might be housed in Welltower. So in post-acute, communities and outpatient medical properties, that's going to be in demand. And this stock is going nowhere. And going over these 5 stocks, eBay is going to be very strong. Starbucks is just it's going back up there. Maximum integrated products, you have your semiconductors, because that's in the rise. So all these 5 stocks are kind of targeted towards certain crowds, and it's in demand. People, look, I'm drinking Starbucks coffee right now. People love coffee. Coffee's in demand. It doesn't matter if it's below zero, 900 degrees. Well, actually, we wouldn't be alive at 900 degrees, but if it's 100 degrees, below zero, people are still getting Starbucks. People want their coffee. Unfortunately, I buy their beans. It's cheaper to buy the beans and have my own coffee machine make that by calculating that. But people just don't want to brew their own coffee. They just want to get up, shower, and go to work and grab coffee. So that's one thing. In the hospital I work at, everybody has to get Starbucks. And they're like, do you want any? I'm like, no, thank you. I already got 3.5 shots in me before work. Semiconductors, I have a cell phone in my hand right now. So, all these new electronics that people have, they're going to need semiconductors and technology involving that. So that's another good one. Welltower, I just explained about that, with people needing, acute care, and people are getting sicker. And then Medtronic, a lot of their products, especially with people with pacemakers and heart conditions, there's a rise in cardiovascular issues, and pacemakers will keep you alive a lot longer. So, that's one thing. If you're bradycardic, if you have, health complications, terrible ejection fraction, because people are getting sicker, their ejection fraction is going to be lower. Pacemakers sometimes are required. The other thing is with eBay, okay? If Amazon sells something for $15 and eBay sells something for $14 and the shipping's the same, who wouldn't go for $14? So you have these 5 stocks, you have all this dividend history and everything on it. So consider these 5 stocks to help you if you're a new investor. Remember, people are getting older, okay? I'm going to give you 5 tips too, because one, people are getting older. Is it in demand? People use eBay all the time in demand. I know Amazon, they have the first trillionaire, but eBay is still a competitor. It's in demand, okay? Semiconductors are in demand. Coffee's in demand. I work in healthcare. Trust me, you need to drink strong coffee. So these type of stocks are stocks that you might want to consider. Now, watch Tom's video as well, because he really pinpoints some really good stocks out there. And I'm definitely going to keep that in the comment section as well. So I'm going to jump to his website real quick and do an overview. So, this is what I like about Tom too. He's very diversified with his portfolio. So, he shows you really good information about his website. Now, anytime he has a new link, I always check it out and stuff. And I will continue to look into this, because I really don't know that much about cryptocurrency. And, you know, this guy knows way more than me. So, I mean, you know, I'm just actually reading this. I should be talking, but you know, this is what's really good about his articles, or you know, I'm just like a zombie just reading it. I mean, this is really good information. Yep, you ain't kidding, Tom. Look at another one. So this is the article that he really elaborated this on his video that he just posted. So make sure you check this link out as well. And he has, I mean, he's a very sharp individual. So make sure that you follow, click the, I just clicked the registration on there. So he has done a phenomenal job, and I'm just, I'm very glad to collaborate with this guy. And I mean, his articles are phenomenal. Every time, you know, I see something when he posts a video, I go immediately to his website and start looking at, like, okay, you know, he's going to start saying some stuff in detail. So, you know, this is, I mean, just, I read this one. This is really good. If you have a chance to read this, make sure you go on his site and read this one. This one's really good as well. I read that. Excellent review that he made. This is a really good, he also made a very good article on it. So his articles, I mean, they're so good. I mean, this is the thing that I really love about his website. You know, everybody has about 5 minutes to look through something. I mean, before you go to bed, at least check out 5 minutes of, you know, his site. And if you have time, definitely, I'm sure you do because you're watching this video, but check out a lot of his videos and make sure you subscribe to his channel so that you don't miss future videos that he posts. Very full of information. I mean, I can't tell what's better, his videos or his articles. They're so great. I mean, this is what I really like about his articles, and I'm very glad to network with him. And you know, I would love to do a collaboration or do a live chat with him, both of us in headsets, because this is a guy that you need to follow. Again, you know, I'm not a financial advisor. There's a disclaimer in my videos, and he also has a disclaimer in his. But man, this guy, he knows his stuff. So the good thing is when you have people that know their stuff, you're just glued to it. I mean, you know, it's hard to get me to freeze when I'm reading articles and talking and stuff, because I can do that at the same time, but I rarely even freeze when I'm reading stuff. Like, wow. So that's how good of a writer he is. That's how good he does his videos. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Have you ever have that happen? Because I'm telling you, it happens to me all the time. If I read something really good, I just stop and I like freeze and read it. So that is something that really grabs your attention, and he really goes into detail, and he tells you what you want to know. He doesn't beat around the bush. So that's a really good thing about his website. So thank you again, and you guys have a good one. I hope everybody had a safe Memorial Day weekend. This is Passive Income Tom Handy. If you make sure you subscribe to my channel, make sure you follow me on Instagram. I also need to add him on Twitter. So when I make tweets, I'm definitely going to tag him. I tag Ramey, Stock Investment Analysis. Phenomenal investor, phenomenal videos. Many people, right when I tagged him, sent me some messages on Instagram like, wow, I never knew this guy, man. He's got good videos. Man, this Tom, I'm telling you, this guy's channel is going to blow up like you wouldn't even believe it. He has strong values, strong, you know, he has a strong personality, a very smart man, and he's going to be a very successful YouTuber on the Dividend Investing Network. He is definitely a dividend warrior out there, and I'm very glad to do this collaboration video with him. So I told him, I said, you know what, when we do this collaboration video, I pretty much don't have to do this. I definitely want to talk about his website, because I freeze up. It takes a lot for me to freeze up and read stuff. So, phenomenal website, phenomenal YouTube channel, and great information. He posts in his Instagram, where you have your stories in the corner and you see it. Phenomenal job with that. So definitely grabs your attention. He's definitely a very good motivator in the dividend investor community. So this is a guy that will get you fired up when you read his articles. So I'm telling you, when I post these links in these corners, you make sure you subscribe and make sure you keep an eye on this channel.